Alright guys, welcome to the channel. This week we are doing another ranking and this week we are doing ranking the first 3 Bourne books. So if you guys have been enjoying these videos, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you get notified when I drop my next video. Okay, so just like for the last ranking video, I will be ranking each book in order of my preference and giving you guys an explanation why I put each book where I did. So, quick disclaimer, this is completely my personal opinion. If you guys have a completely different opinion, that's completely fine. I would be totally interested in seeing your rankings, so you can leave those down in the comments. As with every video, if you guys have book recommendations you want me to do in the future, you can leave those down in the comments as well. So, this time around, I will have cards up in the corners as we talk about each book, and I will also leave links down in the description to each of those videos. So, with all that out of the way, let's hit the intro. Number 3, The Bourne Ultimatum. So, this time around, we are starting with what I consider the worst of the first 3 Bourne books. So, I'm going to deal with my really big problem with how Marie is used in this book first. Because I really do like Marie as a character. She is really good. She is compelling. She's in a strange situation, but she accepts it. She loves David so much that she's willing to put up with the Jason Bourne personality and all that brings. I think Ludlum completely misused her in this book really, really bad. Because, one, compare her to this book from last book. Last book, she was doing stuff. She was her own character. She had her own arc. She was doing her thing. And in this book, I understand why he had to do it, but I really don't like how he did it. She has to take care of the kids, I understand, but you're wasting such a good character, and that's my main problem with how Marie is used, is that she isn't used at all. That one part of the book Marie does do her own thing, we really don't get to see it. It's off page and we just kind of hear about it from Jason and they finally meet, and after that one part, she just kind of goes back to doing what she's been doing for most of the book, which was watching the kids. And I kind of really feel disappointed. Marie is such a good character, and I don't know why Robert Ludlum didn't utilize her better in this book, and it really, really drags it down in my view. The second thing that really, I think, strangely drags this book down is this weird mafia plotline I mentioned in my initial review for this book. I do not know why this is here. I mean, it's interesting on its own, but you have 2 really internationally known assassins trying to hunt each other down. Why do you need the mafia? And I mean, I know it's somewhat connected to the Medusa thing. Realistically, you could cut this mafia plotline out and not lose a ton. I just don't know why it's here. I will give this plotline one thing. It did give us a couple of really cool moments with Dr. Panov, and I kind of enjoy it, but still, it's kind of irrelevant. I don't know why it was here. So, that's my idea on that. So, a big bonus that I really do like about this book is Ludlum finally fixed my biggest problem from the first book, which is how much time we spent with Carlos. He really fixed this because Carlos isn't there for, I don't know, maybe 80-90% of the book, and it's only in the last maybe half or so that Carlos even really becomes relevant. And what's really good about this is at the end of the book, we get more context on his life, and it's really, I think it's very well needed, and I feel like Ludlum finally understood how to use this character effectively, and that is show him being an assassin. Don't show him ordering his guys around doing stuff. Like, we want to see an assassin, not a boss ordering these guys around. And I think Ludlum finally understood that. Number 2, The Bourne Identity. The number 2 place is actually taken by the first Jason Bourne book, And I really do really genuinely like this book, but rereading it, I do realize that there are several smaller problems that put it above the last one, but still keep it from being number one. And a lot of those problems come down to the pacing of the book itself. And I realize that this is the first book, and I know Robert Ludlum probably didn't master what he wanted to do with this series, so I will cut him a bit of slack. My main problem, if you watch my first video, was how much time he spent with the Carlos plotline. Because when we cut to Carlos, he's just ordering his guys around. He's not giving us important information to Jason or Marie, or the plot in general. He's just kind of ordering his guys around, and I still don't think that's relevant, and I don't really think we need to see it. And the other real negative I did touch on in my video for this book was how rapidly Jason and Marie's relationship develops. He goes from kidnapping her to them loving each other in a relatively short amount of time, and I feel like Robert Ludlum could have slowed the pace down a bit, kind of expanded on their relationship. The tone he was going for, that wouldn't have totally have made sense, because he was going for a very action tone, and doing a deep dive into their relationship kind of wouldn't have made sense in context, but I think really would have helped. I still really like how descriptive this book is. It puts you inside Jason's head. You can feel his fear, his paranoia, his uncertainty, and it is visceral. You feel it, and Ludlum's writing really, really does help with this. It is super immersive. If you've ever read the book, you'll probably understand what I'm talking about. It is super descriptive, and it helps get inside Jason's mind as he's going through the book. But it's clear from the pacing problems and Jason Marie's relationship in the book that Ludlum was clearly still finding his footing, and I feel like the next book we're going to talk about, Ludlum finally fixed a lot of those problems and mastered this series. Number 1, the Bourne Supremacy. Alright, so now we come to objectively my favorite of the first 3 Bourne books, the Bourne Supremacy. So in this book, I think Ludlum really did find the perfect balance between everything, between Jason's plot, between letting Marie do her thing, and keeping everything focused enough and having a couple of side plots, but never really letting the side plots take command or take up too much time in the book in general. Alright, so in this book, I love the beginning, because this, I think, is as close as we're going to come to having this deep psychological thriller within the Bourne series. Because the beginning, maybe third or so of this book, is actually a battle between David and Jason. Because in the first chapter or so, couple of chapters, David's in command more or less. And like I said in my video reviewing this book, I really appreciate it, because we don't get a whole lot of David Webb's perspective, because, like I said, with the tone of this series is very action-packed. So having a battle between David and Jason's personalities wouldn't totally make sense, because it's, like I said, an action series. But this book really fixes that and lets David breathe a bit before having Jason take command. Because for the other books, Jason's in command, but in this book, at least, for the beginning bit, we do get to see David Webb's personality before Jason is able to take over for the rest of the story, more or less. The other thing that really, I think, distinguishes this book from the other two is Marie. How she is used. Because in the first book, she was there and she was important, but she never really became her own character. And like I said with Bourne Supremacy, she's there somewhat, but she's kind of in the background. In this book, she is a secondary, tertiary character, but her stuff is interesting, and it is important for David/Jason, because they're hunting her, they're trying to get her back. Well, she's proving that she has learned from Jason Bourne, she has adapted a lot of the chameleon skills, and I think this is the best Marie is written, because she's not in the sidelines. She's doing her thing, and I appreciate a well-written character like this. It would make sense that she would pick up things from Jason Bourne, and it's great that she did pick those up, and that she knows and is comfortable enough using all of that. The other thing that sets this book way above the other two, Ludlum's use of side plots. Because in this book, at least, it's minimal. There isn't a ton of side plot. And the ones that are, mainly from the CIA and the government, are important to the overarching story. Because the government, is part of this main story. The stuff we get from the government is important, and it doesn't drag on. We gain important information as that side stuff is moving forward. It's not like it's taking up valuable time that we could be using elsewhere. The stuff we learn from the government plotline is important, and I think it makes the book so much more streamlined and a lot less lengthy, because you're not slogging through stuff that ultimately won't matter. The stuff that we cover in the government side plot ultimately ends up mattering, and I appreciate a side plot actually ending up mattering in the long run. Guys, this has been ranking the first 3 Bourne books. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also, hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I drop my next video. Don't forget, down in the comments, if you guys have any different rankings for these books than I do, don't be afraid to leave them down in the comments and explain why you have those ranked. Down in the comments, you can also leave any book recommendations you want me to do videos on in the future. Real quick before we go, I just want to reveal the winner of yesterday's Instagram poll, which was to decide what book series we do next. So as you guys can see from the poll, Percy Jackson series won overwhelmingly over the Kingdom Keepers. So next week we will be doing Percy Jackson and the Olympians book 1, The Lightning Thief. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I'll have it come up on screen and also put a link to it down in the description. Have a great week, and I will see you guys next video.